Use the camera, y'all. I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm trying to clean it since I said I was going to go live. So it don't look good at all. Just waiting for some people to get on. Okay, it's a couple of people. Hey, Halito, Wangapo. That's what we say, Wangapo. No. Over here, maybe the lighting's a little bit better. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm doing well, Brandon. Hey, Cuzzo. Can y'all hear me? Yes, you can hear me? Okay, because I didn't plug the microphone in because I'm like, the camera already looked crappy, so ain't no point of having high quality sound on this one. Just testing out doing the live on my laptop. So this one, I'm want to just talk about us leaving the cities and becoming more self-sufficient, which is something that we should all be striving to do as individuals and also as families, as clans, as tribes. As a lot of you know, like those of us who live in the suburbs and in the country, we know that other groups of people are preparing themselves to be self-sufficient. They learn, they're taking the kids to go camping, hunting, and fishing during the summer. They're showing the kids how to shoot guns, shotguns, and things to hunt. The women are learning how to sew. You see all these new housewife blogs and stuff teaching women how to sew. We know how most of those housewives look. They don't look like us, right? Not in the cities, for one. People are learning, just the basic, like camping, the whole camping thing, kind of something that we don't do, kind of encompasses everything that you should know how to survive. Like if something happens, some of us watch The Walking Dead and different shows like that, and you see when stuff happens, the people who know how to survive is who everyone clings to, and the ones who don't, learn from those people and don't keep up, then they the Walking Dead, right? So right now, a lot of us are the Walking Dead. We don't know nothing. We in zombie mode for real, seriously, especially people in the cities. We eating zombie food, walking around like zombies, going to work, not going to work. People sitting on the block. People not occupying their minds. We're not reading. We're not in the libraries. When I go to the library, I don't see a lot of us in there. And if they are, they're doing some type of class project and then they out or whatever. But we need to be studying and becoming self-sufficient for ourselves. And we definitely got to get out the city. Some of y'all people up in like these big cities, Chicago, New York City, y'all paying $2,200 for a 1-bedroom, for a studio apartment. Y'all can have a whole house out in the country. And I ain't talking about how a lot of us had gotten up and just moved to Atlanta, because that's not really the country. I'm talking about outskirts of not even the suburbs, out in the country, like back in our nature, back on, we should be moving towards getting back on our ancestral land, even though people are like, we shouldn't have to pay for it. But, we have to do something. Y'all paying for these expensive apartments in the city where y'all scrunched up, where people is dying, people getting raped, robbed, whatever, etc. In the country, you don't even have to lock your doors. Like my family that live out in the country, they don't lock their doors and stuff, and the kids can run around. I mean, the snakes out there, but once you become more sufficient, you're gonna learn how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Move back to the South. Yeah, move back to the South. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be the South, but the South is the most economical. Like you can have your own little small farm. You can have more space, and the property is cheaper. So Carl says, you are correct. I have way too much for rent when you can own. Exactly. Like the price that y'all plan to rent a small apartment, y'all can have a big house with acres on it and with acres to grow your own food, or just have a little small garden or just have an area for your children to play and they don't have to go to the park and step over crack pipes and all type of foolish, deal with that foolishness, right? And so you would love to move to Maryland. Yeah, there's still a lot like in Maryland, like towards the like a middle Maryland, upper Maryland. There's still a lot of country land, like land available. It's a little more pricier because it's between Philadelphia and Washington D.C. But I mean, move out to Maryland, move to Tennessee somewhere, and it would be a good idea if other people decide to move with you, and you can create communities. Like you have different communities. This is what we used to do. Like it's kind of baffling that we aren't doing that. It's like people came out of being prisoners of war or slaves or just being suppressed or oppressed by the Black codes. They went from that, like having to deal with that foolishness, to going out. Everybody put their money together. They bought a plot of land and everybody started building a town. Yeah, Rosewood, for example, Black Wall Street. There's hundreds of these places. And some of those places existed before emancipation with the free people of color, which they don't talk about. We had thriving towns, even within, all that stuff that was going on. There was slavery over here, but then there was also thriving towns of free people of color or sections of town where we lived. And we had our own bakers, we had our own blacksmiths, we had our own seamstresses, etc. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. People talking about they in a project, so they paying $1,000 for a project apartment. Does that make any sense when you can have a house? Like, why are y'all? They're saying they struggling, but it's like common sense is like you're making yourself struggle because you have other options, right? You can. I mean, people were broke, okay, but people can pool their money together or they can save, and like your whole family can buy a house or buy some land and y'all can build houses on that. We'll put trailers on it for now until y'all get a house, Let me see some of y'all comments. You can purchase hundreds of acres of land. Yeah, like North Carolina has a lot of land for cheap. You have some acres for cheap. Because you said integration hurt our people. Yeah, it sure did. But it's like even within this integration, we can still be thriving. Like look at the Chinese. It was integrated. It was segregated. The Chinese came and they made their own Chinatown. Like they came, like you can go to almost every town, like major town or city in the world, and they got a Chinatown. They got a Chinese community where all of them try to live near each other and help each other and build. To cheap land in South Carolina. Yeah, definitely. South Carolina has some cheap land. Now, I'm not sure about how good the farming land is in South Carolina. I know they have more like rice paddies and stuff down there. But I know North Carolina and Virginia has some good land, to grow on. That's why they had so many plantations there. Okay, let me see. Mad Squabbles Aboriginal says, my people from here in tri-state New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Shinnecock, Nantucket, Mohican, Monaco, what's that? Yeah, that's the same thing. Mohican, Narragansett, etc. Yeah, so y'all, I mean, a lot of y'all have reservations up there. And that's another thing, like people they live on these reservations, but they're not cultivating. They're not cultivating the land. They're not cultivating the people. They're not cultivating the history and the traditions. And, it's something that a lot of the elders complain about. Like people should be making some type of fisheries, hatcheries, or something on there that they're actually using as a business or as a corporate entity for the whole tribe and community. And that's something that we could do in the country, right? If everybody decides, hey, we're going to move to South Carolina, this city or this little area, we're going to build a community there, and we're going to have a farm, and we're going to sell potatoes or whatever, and create a corporate entity called the whatever tribe potato factory. Because these other tribes, like Cherokee, who, there's different bands of Cherokee, but Eastern Cherokee, they have corporations and stuff like that. So you're taking your talents to South Carolina, right? So we should be, in private, getting together. It don't even have to be private, because like really it's not illegal to do that. It's not illegal. And then once you have enough people there, you can create a municipal. You can create your own town and have them come in and put plumbing and street signs and all that stuff. If we're looking at land, let's also study trust and mortgages, not owning and controlling everything. Right. Yeah. So that's, something that people need to do. And we also have to cultivate our skills and stuff that we're good at. If you're good at the law, then you'll be the person who handles the law stuff, dealing with the group or the community. Some people might be like I said, they have a baker. You don't really need blacksmiths now. You have somebody who's good at farming that can teach others how to cultivate the farm. Nannies, somebody to do child care. Something that, everybody doesn't have to work outside the community. Some people can work in the community, and the community can pay them. This is just basic stuff. This is stuff from thousands of years ago that we seem to forget because we are so dependent on the system now. And that's everybody. That's not just Indigenous people. It's everybody. All right, peace, Michael. So yeah, I just really wanted to get into that because I'm just seeing, like, reading all these news stories and stuff, and seeing all these children hurt, and just a whole bunch of stuff it's just from that overcrowding. Like, people's minds are all crabs in the barrel. They're in survival mode, scared, or just doing crazy. They're just losing their mind, right? So maybe if they got some more space, we had some real communities with structures and support for these children and for the parents of these children who are struggling, and maybe we'd be getting somewhere, right? Lisa says, you can start where you are with what you got too. Grow food in containers, potatoes, strawberries. Yeah, exactly. Everyone can start. You can, even if you're in the city now, you can start growing herbs and things in your, on your balcony or in your kitchen, right? So Keith said, you tired of up north. You gotta make it, you gotta make a change. Like, we had the whole, like, people think that because they're somewhere now, they gotta stay there. Like, it was a great migration, right? In the beginning of the 20th century, it was a great migration from the South. Millions of people got up and went to New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, all these cities. So it's not like y'all can't get up and leave, especially when it's doing harm to our people. It really is. Texas has a lot of land for sale. I don't know how good the land is to farm, though. Kind of hot and stuff. I don't know. But it's good to start your research and doing these things. And I know of some people who are doing these things. And it starts with you, like, if you want to do it yourself as an individual, and it starts with your family. You got to get family clan together. That's what you're doing, Carl. Right. Yeah. You grow in your backyard. Get your family together, Let's see, Saya. Statistical analyst done in